afternoon from Barcelona Harbor. It's Paul again, and another edition of Design to Heal. And so, what we're looking at today is a very unfortunate but all too common issue of sexual abuse and how that feeds into our adult lives, and what we want to do about it, and how EMDR is exceptionally powerful in regard to healing from this. And so I talked about physical abuse the other day, and that was about how when we get physically abused by a parent or by a guardian or by somebody in authority who is supposed to be offer indications of love, or what is care, or what is safety, security, and they physically assault us. That is something where oftentimes our understanding of what is love gets really screwed up, and so we think that that's love when it's not. And the same thing is true with sexual abuse. And all too often, I've come across it, in the last several months. I've come across quite a few episodes where people have truly healed from these issues of sexual abuse by caretakers, family friends, or strangers, or people who are in some sort of authority, or even family members. And so what I want to talk about here is basically, again, in the case of talk therapy, what has to happen in talk therapy is these memories that are very painful and shocking and difficult to talk about live in the base of our brain, in our fight or flight mechanism. And all too often, what happens is, these memories that live in our amygdala, in our fight or flight mechanism, which are occurring when we are trying to get away, when we know we are coerced, but we're trying to leave the situation, when we know we are trapped, or when we can't leave, or when something is happening that we might like, but we know is wrong. These types of things. And so this is the kind of activity where the camera's rolling, our memories are rolling, right? The camera's on, but our brain is taking these in the base of our brain, and our frontal cortex of understanding consequences, future planning, right? Our executive function is shut down. And so what happens is that, as time passes, these memories become jumbled, and they're trying to come forth from the cerebellum to the front of our brain. And what comes forward is a jumble, because it's not integrated, right? And the frontal cortex is just not really. I think we're starting to understand the brain a lot better with trauma, is just not in a place to organize it. And so in talk therapy, a lot of times we don't get anywhere with these deep traumas, especially sexual trauma. And so the beauty of EMDR is it in the moment can help to integrate experiences in the past, even if, and I have come across this is especially true, especially memories that are blocked out, where in quick form, within an hour, in a very calm way, the brain, the right side, left side part of the brain that is being stimulated by hand movement of the therapist, can again integrate an emotion to something that happened, right? And that's powerful for us humans, because it gives context and meaning and words, right, to what happened, right? And so our left side of our brain, our right side, our right-handedness, is about time, place, situation, and there's a sense of time there as well. And then the left-handedness, the right side of the brain, is context, emotion, uh, understanding what is going on. And when these two come together with that bilateral stimulation, the level of fear drops dramatically, and we can begin to talk about these things in ways that don't come forward in talk therapy. And that's the neat beauty of EMDR that I have seen over and over and over again in people that I've worked with here in Barcelona. And so what happens is, there can be a sense of clarity. He or she did this to me, this happened, and this is what the result was. And we do all kinds of bilateral relaxation techniques, which is shoulder tapping or knee tapping. The person is in control at all times. We want to talk about where in the body is, where does the body hurt, right? In the head, when you get headaches, that's a sense of being out of control. In the heart, really amazing. That's where the heartache is. In the gut is where there's fear. In the back is where there is deep sense of stress and that want, that need, that desire to escape. So much of our back pain is there. And so all of this stuff lives in our body. And EMDR is kind of a combination of that somatic therapy of dealing with the body and a sense of dealing with the memory and the emotion. And so as we go forward with these unfortunate events, I always tell people that your memory is your greatest ally. We want to get to what did you believe about yourself, and what can we shift today to practically and pragmatically allow you to believe about yourself going forward in the future. And what do you believe about yourself as a person, as a sexual person, right? Because obviously these experiences of sexual abuse have devastating consequences on so many people. The numbers are just staggering, and I am starting to think that all of these helicopter parents were not so, they weren't piloting helicopters as much as we think. There was a lot of abuse going on with millennial parents toward, or Gen X parents toward millennials and toward Gen Z. I think there's a lot of damage in this younger millennial Gen Z population that we need to pay attention to, and not, get snotty with these, spoiled kids who had helicopter parents. I don't think that's the reality. In the case of sexual abuse, we want to be able to know this happened to me over this period of time, at this time, he did this, she did this. But most important, we want to focus on the person after understanding what happened. When we understand what happened, it is so much easier on the mind and so much easier on the mind and the the capability of the person to understand and direct conversation and get some clarity about what's happening. And so what we want to do is to say, okay, tell me what was going on. Be above yourself, stand above the situation, and we want to get some clarity on what happened and what did you believe at the time and what was going on. And of course, the things that people believe at the time are, well, I can please people by being a sexual creature. Um, this is what is happening to me is very bad, and therefore sex is a bad thing, and it's illicit, and it's degrading or humiliating, and therefore I have to carry that into my adulthood. And so these are the kinds of things we want to deal with and sort of soothe and sort of massage around the edges in terms of getting to a sense of what's happening around the edges of these beliefs. It's like when somebody has a very sore muscle, you don't want to actually massage the muscle itself, you want to massage the area around the muscle. And so this can take quite a few episodes of bilateral stimulation using hand movement. But as we move forward, we can begin to name the kinds of things that we believed about ourselves as nouns or adjectives about I am worthless, or I am an object, or I am bad. And the attached emotions are degradation, humiliation, panic, feeling trapped, not being able to get out, liking it but knowing it's very bad. These are conflicting emotions, and so we want to be able to get to these emotions and to and then see these beliefs that are attached to it, right? And very often we want to, as we get to become adults, in our early 20s or whatever, even 30s or 40s, we can see and say to ourselves, well, okay, so what was going on at the time that you believe has carried you into the present about what you believe about yourself. And oftentimes I've heard, over and over again, I believe that I'm no good. I believe the only way that I can make a person happy is through sex. I believe that the way that that sex is worthwhile only if it's in the context of degradation, or I believe that I need to be trapped. And these are as we go into adulthood and we deal with people who are sitting in front of us who are 20s, 30s, 40s, have kept a lot of this stuff very secret for a very long time. That we want to ask these people, is this really true? You're sitting there as an adult capable of taking care of yourself, taking care of your environment, taking care of yourself as a person, and guaranteeing your physical safety as much as you need. And to say to yourself, do these beliefs really pertain anymore? Do these beliefs apply anymore? Do these beliefs make sense anymore? And then I really, truly believe that when I have done EMDR, almost every single time, a person through several episodes of hand movement, anywhere between 45 seconds and a minute, will come to a stark and sudden conclusion that those beliefs were never true. And they did not need to believe that. These beliefs were either untrue or unnecessary, or at the very worst, are no longer appropriate. And so then we want to begin to reprocess. We want to reprocess, okay, what does it look like? What does healthy sex look like? What does a healthy approach to my sexuality look like? And this is certainly true for gay people as well. There's a much higher propensity for sexual abuse among gay young adults than there is with the overall population, especially because so many of the of gay people, especially young male adults, are kicked out of their homes. And so something like almost half of the homeless population in America are gay young adults. And so there's a lot of subject to abuse. And so this is the journey toward a re-understanding about what belief systems we can adjust to and what we can evolve into and come to understand and absorb into our sense of self as we move forward. And so that just gives you a sense of what we'd like to achieve in EMDR with this. And I truly believe this is miraculous stuff in the way that this new understanding of the brain is allowing us to cut through a lot of these painful memories in order to get to very, very positive outcomes. A lot of self-forgiveness and a lot of compassion can come as well out of this. I've seen it over and over again. So as I said, we're designed to heal. So get a hold of me, comment please if you want to. And also please let me know if you need my audiobook on EMDR, or else the extended PowerPoint, which is the hows and the whys of how it works. Okay, happy day.